is Nur Aisyah binti Ahmad Hafidzi. I'm a new accountant executive of Genting Berhad. Before this, I worked as forensic accountant for 7 years, and I hope that I can contribute to the success of this company.
Hi, my name is Siti Fatimah binti Abdillah. I'm a new accountant executive in this company. Previously, I worked as an accountant clerk at small company. I will work smart to give the best performance and improve my skills and decision making in Genting Berhad.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Mardhiah binti Kamaruzaman and I am a junior accountant executive of Genting Berhad. I have been working in this field for 2 years and I wish to help this company to my best ability for its future success. Today, my teammates and I will be presenting about operating segment and interim report of Genting Berhad.
I will present about the company background. Genting Berhad is one of Malaysia's most powerful corporate conglomerates and serves as a holding company. It was established by the late Tan Sri Lim Goh Ton in 1968 and passed this company to his son, Tan Sri Lim Kok Teh. Genting Berhad is a parent company and had 3 listed subsidiaries that are Genting Malaysia, Genting Plantation and Genting Singapore. Also have 2 unlisted subsidiaries which are Genting Energy and Resorts World Las Vegas. The location of headquarters is at Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. The vision of the company is leading to multinational corporation committed to enhancing shareholder value and maintaining long-term sustainable growth in the core business. And one of the company's missions is to be responsive to the changing demands of their customers and excel in providing quality products and services. The company primary business is leisure and hospitality and have another business in plantation, power, property, oil and gas, life sciences and biotechnology activities. The number of employees involved are 45,000 as in year 2020. The company usually closes its account at the end of the year every 31st December and had net income 2.074 billion in year 2020. Next is management approach. The factors to consider having a segment reporting are: the first one is nature of business activities of each component. It must be based on 4 factors, which are the nature of the product or services. Genting Berhad offering variety products and services in the leisure and hospitality, plantations, property development, energy, life sciences, and biotechnology activities. The second is nature of production process. In the leisure and hospitality, Genting Berhad provide the resorts, hotels, and other entertainment facilities to the tourists, while for plantation, the company is supplying oil palm and emphasis on product quality and diversity. In the property development industry, the company launches new properties and promotes existing inventories in order to pound off its carrying stocks. For energy industry, they provide the power and oil and gas that have been operated in overseas, like in Indonesia, China, and India. And for life science and biotechnology activities, they focusing on investment in laboratory studies. Third is the type of class of customer for the products or services. The company's class customer derive from middle and upper income customer, supplier, government regulator, business partner, and international parties. And the last one is methods used to distribute the products or provide the services. Genting Berhad distribute its services through the websites to facilitate the customer to know more about the company business. Besides, the company also use other methods like using the lorry to distribute the oil palm. The second factor is the existence of managers responsible for each component. The managers are responsible to each segment given in order to achieve the goal in the department and maintain regular contact with the chief of decision maker. In Genting Berhad, the company have several divisional departments that been responsible by the manager director and need to report the department performance like the operating activities, financial results, or planning to the high-level management. The last factor is information presented to the board of directors. The board of directors assess the overall performance of company and do the decision based on the resource allocation into different areas in the company. Thus, the chief of decision maker will refer to this evaluation as it is relevant and reliable information. For example, Genting Berhad will determine whether to continue or not the operation in power based on the overall performance, either profit or loss, and sufficient resource to be allocated. Next, we move to the type of segment. Genting Berhad have 2 types of operating segment, which are business segment and geographical segment. The business segment that was run by Genting Berhad are number 1 is leisure and hospitality. This segment operates numerous resorts worldwide that have many casinos, theme parks, concerts, restaurants, and retail shopping locations. The second business segment is plantation. The company involved in plantation of oil palm that located in Malaysia and Indonesia. They also have 12 oil mills that produce tons of oil per year. The third is oil and gas. This segment has petroleum contracts that involve petroleum exploration, development and production in China and Indonesia. Next is power. Power comprises the coal-fired, gas-fired and wind power plants in Indonesia, China and India. Next is property. This segment is related to the development activities where they are developer of quality residential and commercial properties which located in Genting, Indahpura and Johor Premium Outlets. And the last business is segment investments and others. This segment is related to the investments, life science and biotechnology activities. Another segment is geographical segment, which Genting Berhad has separated based on location of customers, like in Malaysia, Singapore, Asia Pacific that excluding Malaysia and Singapore, United States and Bahamas and United Kingdom and Egypt. The next management approach is Chief of Decision Making, CODM, and its responsibilities. There are 3 representative Chief of Decision Maker of Genting Berhad, consists of the first one, Tan Sri Lim Kotte, the Chairman and Chief Executive. Second is Mr. Lim Kuan Hui, the Deputy Chief Executive and Executive Director, and Mr. Tan Kon Han, the President and Chief Operating Officer and Executive Director. Their responsibility is to assess the performance of various segments and decide on allocation of resources to the segments. It is important for decision making that need to plan and forecast for the future business activity.
Now, let's move to the reportable and non-reportable segments. Reportable segments are business segments for which the information required by MFRS are to be disclosed separately. They are segments that have to be identified to meet qualitative threshold tests set by the standard. In order to qualify for reportable operating segments, the segment must pass 10% threshold tests, which are divided into revenue basis, profit or loss basis, and total asset basis of 10% or more, and pass the 75% total revenue requirement. Operating segment that fall below 10% threshold requirement may be considered as reportable segment and are disclosed separately if the information on these segments are useful. Otherwise, other operating segments that do not meet the 10% requirement are not classified as reportable segments and to be combined and disclosed under all other segment category. Since Genting Berhad used revenue basis in measuring its operating segment, there was 6 of 10% threshold tests will be re-evaluated based on its reported revenue of sales to external customer and inter-segment sales. If the segment passed 10% threshold test, the entity must do 75% test rule. For the produced segmental report, according to the calculation shown in the table, by using the 10% threshold test of revenue basis, there are only 2 reportable segments identified, which are the leisure and hospitality and plantation segments of 62% and 24% respectively. Since the other operating segments did not meet the 10% requirement, it will be combined together and disclosed as other segments category in the segmental report. In order to have 4 reportable segments and 1 non-reportable segment in Genting Berhad, a new adjustment will be created as shown in the table. There are additions of logistic and commercial segments in the new operating segments adjustment. Since the reportable segment are more than 75% of external revenue, therefore, no additional segment to be reported. After the adjustment made, Genting Berhad will have 4 reportable segments and 4 non-reportable segments. In contrast, the new segmental report by using the adjustment of new operating segment will be having changes in the reportable status by using the 10% threshold test of revenue basis. There are 4 reportable segments which are leisure and hospitality, plantation, logistic and commercial. As the combined revenue of all operating segments are exceeding 10% of 62%, 24%, 30% and 14% respectively. Power, property, oil and gas, and investment and others will be reported as all other segments as it fails to meet the 10% threshold test according to the revenue basis.
This is the last part of operating segment, which is the advantages and the disadvantages. The first advantage of operating segment is that creditors are able to decide credit terms for the company. Financial information is used by creditors for them to assess the compatibility of company to meet the terms of agreed contract. Hence, the analysis upon each reporting segment helps them to protect their interests and reassure that they will receive the expected return of their investment which is the repayment of loan, principal, and interest. Next, shareholders are able to gain the overview of company's operation. As for shareholders, they use financial statement to assess the amounts, timing, and the degree of certainty of organization's future cash flows. By having segment reporting, shareholders will be able to decide whether they should buy, sell, or hold onto the current investment in the organization based on their rational assessment. Lastly, companies are able to gain more information for a better decision making. Management of the company depends on financial information for its future planning. The segment reporting not only help in determine whether company should expand or sell a certain segment, but it also helps management to allocate resources efficiently and effectively. Now is the advantage of operating segment, which it is time-consuming process and costly. Segment reporting requires a lot of disclosures to be presented, which a lot of preparation time needed. Since it needs many disclosures, companies' operating costs also increases due to cost of collecting and cost of management control system to present the disclosure. Next, the data might be misinterpreted. The misinterpretation is caused by inclusions of intersegment transfer methods of company sales such as cost plus, market price, and negotiated price. All these different methods will lead to different operating results for reporting segment. Hence, if the segment sales figures exceed the consolidated sales figure, it will lead to misinterpretation by user groups. Last but not least, the disadvantage of operating segment is different segment bases. Different companies tend to use different base for segment reporting purposes. As for some organizations, they might divide the segment based on geographical location, and some other organizations divide segments based on product-wise. All the bases have their own limitation and problems. We will move on to interim report.
The financial statements of the group and the company have been prepared in accordance with Malaysian Financial Reporting Standards (MFRS), International Financial Reporting Standard (IFRS), and comply with the requirement of the Companies Act 2016 in Malaysia. The financial statement have been prepared on a historical cost basis. The interim financial report has been prepared in accordance with the MFRS 134 Interim Financial Reporting and paragraph 9.22 of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad. The interim financial report should be read in conjunction with the audited financial statement of the group for the financial year ended 31 December 2019. The accounting policies, presentation, and method of computation adopted for the interim financial report are consistent with those adopted for the annual audited financial statement for the financial year ended 31 December 2019, except for the adoption of new MFRS. Property, plant and equipment are stated at cost, less accumulated depreciation, less accumulated impairment losses. Freehold land is stated at cost and is not depreciated. Except for freehold land, other assets such as buildings, plant and equipment, vehicle and many more are depreciated using straight line method to allocate their cost to their residual value over their estimated useful lives. Where an indication of impairment exists, the carrying amount of the asset was written down immediately to its recoverable amount. Lastly, gain or losses on disposal are determined by comparing the net disposal proceeds with the carrying amount and are included in the profit or loss statement. Next is the accounting policies for inventory. All inventory are stated at the lower of cost and net realizable value. Some example of inventories are land held for property development costs, completed development properties, and plantation products and produce. The net realizable value is the estimated selling price in the ordinary cost of business, less cost to completion and selling expenses.
Now I will continue with type of interim report. As a company that has been listed on main market of Bursa Malaysia, Genting Berhad is encouraged to publish interim financial report on quarterly basis. Genting Berhad has prepared a condensed interim financial report for their company, and the report has been prepared quarterly starting from 1st January 2020. The interim report consists of 3 months each quarter and will be prepared from first quarter up to fourth quarter, which completes the 12 months accounting cycle. This interim report will end simultaneously with the financial reporting on the 31st December 2020. Interim report requires few contents to be included in it. Firstly, all headings and subtotal in most recent financial statement. Next, disclosure of selected explanatory notes required by FAR570 interim financial reporting, which focuses on significant changes in financial position of company's performance since last annual reporting date. Both basic and diluted earnings per share also need to be presented on the face of the statement. If annual financial statement were prepared on consolidated basis, the interim report shall follow. As for Genting Berhad, they has prepared an audited condensed consolidated for all 5 statements. Now, moving on to period for the current and comparative of each statement. Based on MFRS 134 interim financial reporting, the current and comparative periods for each statement prepared by the company will be mentioned from 1st October 2020 to 31st December 2020, which it reflects to the 4th quarter of Genting Berhad in its financial year of 2020. For the statement of financial position, SOFP at the end of current interim reporting period is 3 months, which is from 1st October 2020 to 31st December 2020. Meanwhile, the comparative SOFP of immediately preceding financial year reporting period is from 1st January 2019 to 31st December 2019. For the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, SOPL and OC for the current reporting period is 3 months from 1st October 2020 to 31st December 2020. The cumulative SOPL and OC for current financial year to date reporting period is 9 months, which is from 1st January 2020 to 30th September 2020. Comparative SOPL and OC of immediately preceding financial year for current interim reporting period is 3 months from 1st October 2019 up to 31st December 2019, while comparative SOPL and OC for immediately preceding financial year to date reporting period is 9 months from 1st January 2019 to 30th September 2019. As for statement of changes in equity and statement of cash flows, they share the same treatment where cumulative SOCI and cash flows for current financial year to date reporting period is 9 months from 1st January 2020 to 30th September 2020, and comparative SOCI and cash flows of immediately preceding financial year to date reporting period is also 9 months from 1st January 2019 to 30th September 2019.
The last presentation is about an adjustment that occurred in the 4th quarter. There are 2 adjustments. The first one is about doubtful debt and trade receivable. Genting Berhad prepares the quarterly interim reports. In the 4th interim period of the financial year ended 31st December 2020, there was an impairment in its account receivable. As at 31st December 2020, the amount of account receivable is 2,200,364 ringgit Malaysia. The company estimated that the amount would only be 95% collectible by year end. So the adjustment that need to do is calculate the net amount to be reported. The amount of doubtful debt of 5% need to be disclosed in the statement of profit or loss is 110,018 ringgit Malaysia, while the amount of trade receivable to be disclosed in the statement of financial position is 2,090,346 ringgit Malaysia. The second adjustment is about inventory. The inventory price is changing every year. The company had inventories of 572,239,000 ringgit Malaysia on 31st December 2020. The expected net realizable on 31st December 2020 is 570,230,000 ringgit Malaysia. According to MFRIS 102 inventory, we need to record the inventory value at lowest of cost and net realizable value. Thus, in the 4th interim report of year ended 31st December 2020, the lowest inventory value is at net realizable value, which is 570,230,000 ringgit Malaysia. The loss of inventory will be recognized in the statement of profit or loss. Here is the before and after adjustment. In the extract statement of financial position after adjustment, we need to provide 2 dates, which are current interim that refer to the current quarter and comparative date that refer to the previous whole period of the statement of financial position. Current interim date is starting from the 1st October until 31st December 2020, and the comparative date is from 1st January until 31st December 2019. That's all from us. Thank you.